I'm so happy you're on my stoop.
Thank you.
And I have a million questions I want to ask you because I feel
We don't have time for a million. Start with one.
everybody thinks they know Dr. Ruth. They say the sex lady.
Hello, you are on the air. One thought like this, bang, there goes the erection.
But what they might not know is that you were a sniper.
Right? I know how to put 5 bullets in one red circle. I knew how to throw hand grenades.
So obviously your life as a sniper led directly to your life as a sex therapist.
No.
Yeah, there must be some sort of a correlation
No,
here.
hold it. Cat, at that time when I was 20, now I'm 85, it was very important to defend Israel so that Jews will have a country of their own.
Well, that's very noble. So you became a
Right.
sex therapist because you're pervy.
Oh boy, I knew that she would say that. Everybody listened to that, even in the taxi.
I'm just wondering, are you
No.
pervy?
Certainly not.
What? Okay.
I'm the most old-fashioned square that you have met. I've been very fortunate. Superbly trained at the Sorbonne in Paris to be a psychologist.
Okay.
Then I came to this country and I needed a job and I got a position as director of research for Planned Parenthood. And I, after 24 hours, said, whoops, what an interesting subject matter. That's what I'm going to try to specialize in.
And now you are synonymous with sex in our culture.
I like that.
Well, look at you. How could you not be synonymous with sex?
Look at that. There is nothing wrong with masturbation. This is definitely better than to walk around with a long face and being frustrated. Then I realized I didn't know enough. People like you asked me some questions. I don't have orgasms. People like you ask.
I did not say I don't have orgasms.
I don't
okay, I don't know
feel
where
like
you're going with
having
this.
sex.
But no, I feel fine about having sex. Don't you lump me in with the people who call you.
Right. So I learned to be a good sex therapist. Main thing for you, Joan, is to have an orgasm, and it doesn't matter if it is through oral or with a hand, or maybe with his nose.
So how did you know how to make sure that they have orgasms?
Do you think, Kat, that you are I'm 85. Do you think that's the first person who asked me about my sex life?
No, I don't want to know about your sex life. I'm wondering how you had the actual knowledge. I don't want to know about your sex life, by
I
the way.
hope
You
so.
can just keep that to
Did you
yourself,
hear that?
Dr. Ruth. No, honestly, it's like one of the last things I want to know.
I don't want to know about yours either. Do you
I'm
hear
not
that?
telling you about mine. Now, I know you've been asked every question about sex, so what have you heard the most times that you're like, ugh, not that one again?
I never say, ach, that one again.
But you think it.
I know what I say is how fortunate. Even the cat on the stoop wants to talk about sex.
Everybody wants to talk about
So
sex.
I know that. The taxi drivers very often turn around, then they get a good tip. They get a good tip from me. And they say, can I ask you a question about premature ejaculation or about him not wanting to have sex or she not wanting to have sex? And I'm very happy. If I can, I answer. And stay here.
I'm staying.
It's your program.
I'm pulling my dress down because I don't know. I'm suddenly fatigued. Go ahead. Because I'm trying to picture a cab driver. I'm like, excuse me, I have premature ejaculation. Like, oh, make it right on Lexington.
No,
like,
he
this seems
says,
so
no.
odd.
He says, they're all very polite. They say, Dr. Ruth, they do know me, which is nice. Dr. Ruth, can I ask you a question? And then I say, of course, if we have time, if I don't get out right away. So
is there any question that's too dirty that you're like, you know what, take that somewhere else?
Yes.
What?
If I get a question about bestiality,
Yeah.
I say I'm not a veterinarian. Goodbye.
Good. Really?
Do you hear?
What gave you the courage and the to really talk about things that everyone else would rather do anything but talk about?
In the Jewish tradition, sex has never been a sin. Sex has always been an obligation of a husband with a wife. Friday night, don't
It's a
forget
terrible, an obligation. Ugh, who wants to think
that.
of
To
their sex life like that?
satisfy her.
Ugh.
Do you hear that? Okay, what gave me the joie de vivre,
The balls, let's just say it's the balls about sex.
I don't use that term. See how old-fashioned and square I am?
It's so funny.
Not like this young woman here.
I'm a
But-
woman of ill repute.
But it's certainly coming out of the Jewish tradition has given me the kind of courage to talk about things that in those days, when I started the radio program was 1981, nobody talked about premature ejaculation, erection, inability to obtain or maintain an erection.
I still don't want to talk about that, actually.
You don't have to talk about it, but you have to know that that's what made me being Dr. Ruth.
At the time that you were a sniper, obviously you had come out of some great tragedy, as many Jews did, losing your family. You were young, you were alone, you took on this cause. When you look back at those times, do you think, wow, they really built me into a strong person, or wow, I really was a woman of my convictions, or do you just wish they had never happened at all, that was a dark period that you wish you didn't have to go through?
That's a very good question, Kat. I've never been asked that. And the answer is that I'm very grateful. As sad as I am that I was an orphan at the age of 10, I am very grateful for all the experiences that I've had. I have an ability to say, Hitler lost and I won. I have 2 wonderful children. I look at my grandchildren and the first thought on a serious note is Hitler and the Nazis who didn't want me to live, they are lost, and look where I am. On the stoop with Cat in Brooklyn.
Take that, Hitler.